Hello everyone, today I want to explain one of the very important concept of chemistry and health. How a developing fetus gets oxygen from its mother. I think you may be wondered how a fetus in the womb gets oxygen. Unlike you and me, a fetus cannot breathe. Everyone know that. At like you and me, a fetus need oxygen compulsory to survive. Where does the oxygen come from? In adults, we know oxygen is absorbed in the lungs and carried in the blood by a protein molecule that is called hemoglobin, which is abundantly present in red blood cells. Hemoglobin generally represented as Hb reacts with the oxygen. So this is the oxygen and it convert into HBO2. So this hemoglobin oxygen combined to form hemoglobin. This is a forward reaction and this is a backward reaction. But keep in mind what is the equilibrium constant. Based on that only this whole process you can understand. So equilibrium constant, that is a K or Kc Kp. Anyway, pressure related mean Kp, constant related mean Kc. That is equilibrium constant is equal to product HbO2 concentration and Hb concentration and O2 concentration. This is the equilibrium constant. The equilibrium constant for this reaction is neither large nor small. This Kc value is intermediate. It meaning if K value increases very large, then reaction is towards the product side formation. That is called forward reaction. In case Kc value is very small, then reaction shift backward. Then it is generally toward the reactant side. So based on that, you can understand here K value is intermediate, not very large. It is moderate. It means forward reaction also takes place, backward reaction also takes place. It means reactant and product concentrations are comparable range. Now, depending upon the concentration of oxygen, as blood flows through the lungs, where oxygen concentrations are high, the equilibrium shift to the right side, then hemoglobin loads to the oxygen and reaction convert into forward and it form HbO2. According to the Le-Chatelier's principle, if reactant concentration anyone hemoglobin or oxygen increases, then reaction shift to the forward direction. Now at lungs, oxygen concentration is very high, therefore reaction shift to the forward direction and form oxyhemoglobin. This is called oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin, it flows through the blood. As blood flows through the muscles and organs that are using oxygen, where oxygen concentration have been depleted, it means decrease. It means at lower concentration that organs absorb the oxygen. It means this will be dissociated Hb and O2, then oxygen will be absorbed by that organ. Then equilibrium shift to the left. How this reaction shift to the left meaning when Hb and O2, when already in the previous equation that combined to form HbO2, now when oxygen concentration decreased because that given to muscles or other organs, then here left side oxygen concentration decrease, then reaction shift to the left because here any one of the concentration decrease means here concentration is greater, therefore reaction shift to the left direction. It meaning muscles have the low oxygen concentration, therefore reaction shift to the backward direction, or according here this is the backward. Then now the question, we know a fetus has its own blood circulatory system. The mother's blood never flow into the fetus body, and fetus cannot get any air in the womb. So how does the fetus get oxygen? Now we know this is a fetus present in the womb, this whole part, and this is a placenta, and this is one of the cord connected to the fetus. Now how this fetus get oxygen? For this, how to answer mean a fetal hemoglobin present in the baby, which is slightly different from the adult hemoglobin. Like adult hemoglobin, fetal hemoglobin in equilibrium with oxygen. Keep in mind, adult hemoglobin and fetal hemoglobins are equilibrium with the oxygen. Now, that fetal hemoglobin is represented as HB is hemoglobin, F indicating fetal. This is called fetal hemoglobin. This fetal hemoglobin react with the oxygen and it form hemoglobin fetal, oxygenated hemoglobin fetal. This is oxyhemoglobin. This is fetal hemoglobin, oxygenated fetal hemoglobin. So, however, the equilibrium constant for this fetal hemoglobin is larger. So, I can write this as Kc for HbF is very larger than K for hemoglobin of adults. That is a main difference here that you have to observe. Now, the fetal hemoglobin loads oxygen at the lower concentration than the adult hemoglobin. Adult hemoglobin, what is that? It takes the oxygen or it loads the oxygen at the high concentration. But fetal hemoglobin, what is that? It loads oxygen. It means it gets oxygen at lower concentration. When the mother's hemoglobin flow through the placenta, this is a placenta, this placenta connected to the cord of the fetus. Mother's hemoglobin unload the oxygen in the placenta. Now HbO2, it means oxygenated hemoglobin, that will be unload mean that dissociate into Hb and O2. Then you will get the oxygen in the placenta. The baby's blood also flow into this placenta. But keep in mind, even though baby's blood never mix with the mother's blood, the fetal hemoglobin within the baby's blood loads oxygen here. That mother's hemoglobin unload. That's why baby's hemoglobin, it get oxygen. It means load. And it carries to the baby. It carries to the baby. Keep in mind, this is such a beautiful engineered into the our body. This nature has the engineered a chemical system where the mother hemoglobin can affect the hands of oxygen to the baby's hemoglobin. That is a great engineering mechanism in our body. It means mothers giving oxygen to the baby's fetus without any distraction, without any intermixing of the blood of the mother and baby. That is a mechanism is explaining with the Le principle, that is called a equilibrium takes place between the hemoglobin of the mother and the hemoglobin of the fetus.